So usually I sit here awkwardly for a few seconds
Yeah.
and just chat as if we were already having a conversation. And then I go, hello and welcome to Paisley Presents. My name is Paisley and this is the next episode. I'm joined today by a good friend of mine, Jayden, who is a model, mother, engaged person, just so many things. There's just, the list goes on. So yeah, how are you today, Jayden?
Yeah, good.
That's good.
Very good.
It's
Happy to be here.
Yeah, it's kind of exciting because this is the first time I've done it at night. So it kind of feels a bit more kind of cozy. I've got the heater going. We don't have cups of tea, but you know, that's fine. And yeah, it's got a nice kind of cozy feel. So yeah, thanks very much for coming along and, you know, agreeing to have me, what's the word, cross-examination you? I don't know. That sounds, it's more fun than it sounds, I promise.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I understand.
So I'm gonna, well, this is very amateur of me. So how did first, I guess we should first talk about how we met.
Okay.
So we met, I should ask you that question. Yeah, on a photo shoot, that's
with
right.
Astrid Kirk?
Yeah, at Kirkland. Yeah,
That's it. I always get it wrong.
And she's a model as well as a
she's a model
photographer.
and she's also a model agent. She's one of my agents at Virtue Management.
There you go.
So she's a busy woman.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, we had a shoot together.
Yeah.
With her and
it was pretty fun.
yeah, it was really good actually.
Just in the city, wasn't it? Like,
Yeah, we met at Southern Cross Station. It was one of those. I was talking about this yesterday. I find it quite funny.
Yeah.
It was, to me, it was like one of your typical drama films.
Oh,
when
right.
the girl goes to go up the stairs or the escalator and the man's waiting at the top. That's exactly what it was like. And
oh, really?
I didn't know who was getting introduced, was introducing themselves to me. I thought I was going to meet Astrid and it was you at the top of the stairs. And you're like, hi, how are you going? Yeah, no, you were very polite.
Oh, thanks.
Very polite.
I try to be.
Very polite and lovely.
Yeah. Yeah, she was fun to work with because I'm not as professional as you. I'm a complete amateur. Like I've done maybe 1-2 shoots, so it was a very it was a nice experience to be. You know, sometimes it's a bit daunting where you go on a shoot and you think, oh, you know, are people going to be rude? Are they going to be intimidating?
Nice? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it wasn't like that.
It's really good when you can meet someone you can be completely yourself with and be comfortable and everything flows. The shoot just flows.
Yeah.
And obviously we get to work with each other again if it turns out
that's true.
amazing.
Yeah, so, fingers crossed. So I guess that's kind of half the battle. But I was going to ask you, what made you want to do modelling? Have you always wanted to do modelling, or? No,
I never even thought about it. When I was younger, I was told a couple of times that I probably should try it, but I was like, well, no. No way, as if I could do that. And it all started in 2011. I decided to have a photo shoot with my partner at the time. Well, my partner at this time. That's what I'm engaged to.
Yeah, right. Oh, that's lovely.
That was my first shoot, and the photographer said, "Have you ever thought about trying modelling? You know, would you think about it?" Like, you know, not really at that time. I thought, no, it's not my type of thing. But yeah, I had a good think and decided, I'll give it a go, see how I go. And I got Model Mayhem off a friend, the web address off a friend, and I started off there. I just put up my first images and things started from there. And
fantastic.
Yeah, it's been great. It's been 4 years now.
Yeah,
so almost.
4 years.
Almost.
Wow, that's great. So it would have been, was it 2011 that you started? Yeah, wow, that's amazing. And you've done heaps, haven't you? Even in the last year, you've done heaps.
I couldn't count them.
Yeah,
I'd say under 50 in the last 4 years,
yeah,
which is okay. It's all right. I mean, I haven't made myself pretty flat out, but it's enough to build a good big portfolio. So.
And considering, for those who don't know, considering what the majority of it is unpaid work?
Yes, it's all TFP work.
Yeah, okay, right. Yeah.
I have set my rates recently,
but
I haven't gone out and tried to promote myself in that way yet.
Yeah, so that's a bit daunting.
Big step for me. Big step.
But
that's a whole other story altogether. So the trade option works really well for me, and I've met a lot of really good people and a lot of really good photographers from it. So yeah, very happy with it. Yeah, that's regardless. Awesome. But I would like to get paid eventually. So that's my next step, and international work is the step after that. And I'd love to do all those things. So we'll see how we go.
That's really cool. And so what? I guess I don't know. Like when you were starting out, like how did you find it? Did you find it intimidating? Did you find it fun? Did you find it scary? A bit of all.
I was scared.
Yeah.
I was scared. I look back at my images now and. I mean, I did a good job considering it was my first time. I did an amazing job, and when you're not a model, you don't understand that the camera's like click, 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 it's ongoing, so it's constant. Think of a new pose every 2 seconds, and that was really, really difficult for me. And I look back at my images now and I go, I was just standing there most of the time. But I did a good job. I worked really hard, and I've continued to work harder. And learnt about angles and learned about lots of different things, facial expression, emotion. That took me a little while. And then eventually did my course at the Model Academy in 2013 and got my diploma.
So you did do a course?
Yes.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that was in January to April 29th. I got my diploma in 2013. I did that with my sister, who I also got into modelling. So she's a model as well.
Younger or older?
Younger. We're 7 years apart.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I've got 2 other sisters and 3 of us.
Also quite a bit younger then.
Yeah, we're all 7 years apart. We're 14 years apart, me and my youngest, but you get what I mean. Yeah,
wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, there's a few of us, but yeah, my sister's a model as well, and we did that together, and then after that, I think everything just boomed from there. My best images and like the best of me came out there, and everything's been great. I've worked hard for what I've gotten, so yeah, you have to challenge yourself and push yourself in the industry, and I learned that pretty quick.
Yeah, I can imagine.
That's what I've done. And continue to do.
That's wicked. And I guess a lot of people have that sense of, certainly from what I've, well, you know, obviously I don't even know much about modelling, I'm very, very new to it, but a lot of people I talk to about it seem to have this idea that, you know, models are kind of quite vapid, quite kind of just like these closed-horse people, and though I have encountered that to some degree, like people with sort of no real personality.
Like normal person.
Yeah, that's right. I think that you maybe your advantage is that you seem to have such a humility about you, and such you seem a lot more maybe not just down to earth, but sort of salt of the earth kind of person. You know, there's no bullshit, there's no ego. You're happy to do anything. And sort of go anywhere, and you just do it for the love of it, which I think is what it should be. It
went from a hobby to a passion and a career option, so that's very true. But I think it's also, like, I've never delved into this side of things. I was never interested in anything beauty, really. Like, anything
it doesn't seem very you. Like, if you met her on the street and you were like, I'm a, a model, like, oh, okay, cool, that's awesome.
Usually, like, at home, my normal life, I'm not really that type of person, but on camera, it's there. That's my passion, that's my dream, that's my job. It is my full-time job, apart from being a mum, of course.
And yet, clearly, you're one of those people who, you know, because I guess as an actor primarily compared to modelling, you know, I've done acting for years, and there's something to be said about someone who looks very, not that you don't look every day at all, like you have quite an unusual look, but something that's really interesting about you, and I think this is something that like all great models have, is that you're so malleable. Like I've seen, you know, I don't know how many, maybe 10 or 15 different shoots you've done, you know, only in the last, you know, I mean, only since I've known you. And they're all just so different. Like you just transform. You look like a completely different person. But that's what we're meant to do
as a human. I was actually going to say this before. We have to challenge ourselves. We have to expand as people and humans. Otherwise, to be honest, I think we'd excuse the pun, but I honestly think as humans we'd be as dumb as doorknobs. If we didn't expand, if we didn't challenge ourselves, if we didn't step out of the box and do what we're afraid of, which is what we're meant to do. Like there's a lot of things, it doesn't matter, but we're meant to do the things that scare us, to surprise ourselves and accomplish the things that we want to. And that's my answer, that's my key to what I do now and how I'm so diverse and I try to do so many things is challenging myself, doing the things that I'm scared to do the most, and I've done them, and I can look back and go, oh, I did it, you know, I did a great job. So that's my key. That's how I keep my diversity. It's try something new all the time. What's something different that I can put out there, and someone will be like, oh, what is that? You know, shock people. As you know, like in the industry, to get out there, you have to network. You have to expose yourself.
That's a part that I always feel a bit, you know, even in terms of acting, I always feel very uneasy, because as I was saying to you just earlier, people tell me I'm really good at it. People tell me I'm so good at it that I don't even really realise I'm doing it. You know,
because it's natural.
Yeah, exactly. But at the same time, I feel when I network, like I think maybe even it's the word that I don't like, because there's certain connotations with that. I hate the idea of having a relationship that's either like purely business, or actually, you know what, even that's okay. But just that idea of, you know, a lot of people see networking as this very faceless thing, you know, like even if you're not going to hang, even if you're not going to hang out with them outside of the work, I love the idea of working with people that, you know, that I like and that I respect, and they get along with them.
I'm exactly the same.
Yeah, and I think in some ways that's probably, you know, sometimes a bit of a luxury, but at the same time, I don't think there's anything wrong with, you know, looking for that and seeking that.
Well, it's hard to come across.
Yeah,
it really is. But yeah, you've got to work for it, and you eventually find those people.
Yeah.
It's all hard work at the end of the day. It isn't. You don't have to like work your absolute butt off.
No.
You can't breathe and you're tired. You can't get out of bed.
Yeah.
It's just consistency. Be consistent. And as long as you're consistent, the more, you know, people will notice you and put yourself out there, because as soon as you stop being consistent, you have to start all over again. And that's a pain in the butt. So it can be hard, but it does get there, and you do meet people, you come across all different types of people, but you definitely find your favourite few. And
exactly.
Yeah, and you work with them again and again, and I find you produce your best work with the people that, you know, you have a good bond with, a good energy with relationship.
Because being comfortable is such a big difference, isn't it? Especially for a shoot.
On camera, you can see on camera how you're feeling. And a big part about acting and modelling is you have to learn how to show different emotions. You can't have a head full of, you know, negative energy and negative thoughts, because it's going to come out
straight away
in your images, and then you're in trouble because you have a very good shoot, will you? So be positive. Be positive about things, be positive to other people, and hopefully it turns out to be a positive shoot.
And how much do you think, I think an interesting question to ask you would be as well, it's very expositional, because they say about photography, any kind of photography, but I suppose especially portraiture of, like, you know, taking photos of people, that it's, you know, like 9/10 timing and only 1/10 talent. But I would say to you, in terms of modelling, how much of it do you think is the look, and how much of it is honestly your personality, and how much of your personality you bring to a shoot?
Oh wow, that's a hard question. It really all depends on the shoot. And we were actually talking about this earlier. A lot of the time, like I really love it when I can show myself, because a lot of the time you're basically a mannequin.
That's right.
You're doing what they want you to do.
Or like kind of canvas, and they paint you how they want you to.
Exactly. You're still you at the end of the day. It's your face on that photo. But you don't necessarily all the time get to show you. And so I'd say on a studio shoot would be my favourite, as I mentioned earlier. Because I'm free. I'm free to do what I like. I mean, it's a lot harder. It's a lot more difficult when, you know, you're just standing there and you've got to come up with things every 2 seconds. But I love that, because I can try new things. I can try things that I haven't done before and show that photographer me, and show the people that are looking at those images me, the proper me, you know, not what we've created in one day. So I like studio shoots the most. Was that your question? I hope I'm on track. But I tend to talk. Everything connects to everything, so I tend to.
That's good.
Go on and on and on.
That's good. There's a bit of a pattern. Maybe it says a lot about people I like or get along with or spend time with, but just about everyone I've interviewed has been the same.
Well, there's a lot to talk about.
There is.
It's a big industry, and there's always so much going on. So it's kind of hard not to talk a lot. And
how much do you think having a tough skin in terms of modelling is important? Because I know it's very important.
It's very important. If you come in and you can't take things very easily, you will be pushed down, and you won't be able to continue. You don't listen to everything that everybody says to you. You're going to be told throughout your whole career that you can't do this, you can't do that. I myself, I have piercings, I have tattoos. I'm 1 centimetre to 2 centimetres too short.
There you go. I'm often telling girls who say, I'm not tall enough. It's like, really, height only really matters for catwalk models, usually, doesn't it?
It all just depends who's interested in you. If you've got the perfect face for something, sometimes they're not even going to worry about that height. Catwalk is a very big thing. If you're only about 1 centimetre under, which I am, I was very lucky, very lucky to get in. We wear heels. We wear high heels. That's going to add a couple of, you know. So depending on who hires you or takes you on for these catwalks. It all depends on them, whether they like you as just your face and not worried about your height, or they're worried so much about your height, your looks and your modelling and your talent. Doesn't matter. It all really depends on who you go for and the person. It can be really difficult, but at the end of the day, tattoos, piercings, height, size, it doesn't matter at the end of the day. Like, you remember years and years ago, we weren't allowed to have plus size models. That didn't exist, and now look, they're everywhere. I go international agency looking all the time, and it's plus size, plus size, plus size, and it's like, hallelujah. The industry's changing. Or a few months ago, Vogue, I don't know if anyone had noticed, Vogue had put, I don't know if it was a tattooed model or they'd painted a tattoo on it, and it was their cover photo. I think it was Vogue Italia, I could be wrong, but for ages, and I was going, this industry's changing, it's, you know, they're accepting things they never used to, and that's amazing, and that's shown me something, because I stepped into this career going, I'm going to be shut down, I'm not going to do these things. I was told I couldn't do editorial work, now I'm an editorial model.
Wow, that's awesome.
Heaps of things. I was told I couldn't do runway. I've done 3 runway shows now in the last year and a half.
That's so good, yeah. How did you find that, just going on to that topic briefly? I
was with, now I've got to think back. My first ever runway was with the Model Academy where I studied.
Yeah.
We had the Model Academy runway show at the Park Hyatt, so that gave me my experience, obviously.
Cool.
And then the second one was, I think it was, I could be completely wrong, but it was the Metamorphosis by Arts.
Okay.
It's held by 2 designers called Aaron and Ejaz, and they work together and they produce these runway shows, which are absolutely spectacular. They're like cultural shows, they're alternative, they're a bit different.
Cool.
And that was, Crown Casino, and that was my big break. I wore this dress called the Galaxy dress, and I had a big head coming out of the arm, and there was big hands coming off the tread. I don't know if you've seen them in my images, but people noticed that, and I had to stand up in front of people, not only walk around, but they have a poetic time, like during, like in between designers, they have speeches, poetic speeches, and I had to stand there in front of everybody. And I was very lucky because that was the day that people were like, oh, well that's Jayden Hope, I know who this person is now. And I was exposed, and since then, the next runway I was asked to attend, I didn't have to go to a casting. The first runway, I didn't even mention how I was able to participate in Metamorphosis by Arts.
That's right.
Virtue Management, who I used to be with.
Which is the Tasmanian company.
They had a designer that needed models who happened to be in this runway, and there was a group of us who happened to walk for there. But that
cool.
very, very simple.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's probably why I forget about that sort of stuff. But and then the second one, I was asked to come along, which was amazing. And now I've got another one coming up in I had another one, and then I've got another one coming up in September. The one after that was Aurora by Arts. Sorry, this is so hard.
It's good. You're so busy. It's
quite often. I do a lot of shoots and
awesome.
a few runways. It's been quite difficult to keep track of lately. Half the time I didn't even know what date it is. It's
what is it?
Is it
day
by
Wednesday? No, it's Thursday. No, it's Friday. It's Friday today. I don't know either. But that's good, isn't it? Like that's kind of half the battle. Do you think keeping in the industry and being prolific and being
keep going?
You know,
it can be hard.
Proactive is the word.
It can be quite difficult. Long days, long drives, because I drive. I don't catch trams or buses or anything like that, so I can drive up to 3 hours of distances. 3 hours of time distances. And I could have 15-hour days. It's hard, but you have to work hard to get to the top. It's as simple as that.
That's it.
And I don't really know what else to say.
Good on you. So how old are you?
Me, I'm 22.
22, there you go. Because I think some people, like I don't really know, but I feel like some people would be surprised by that. Because you've told me, because I remember we had a conversation about it, that people tend to think you're a bit older.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
Do you know, why do you think that is?
I've actually had it my whole life. Whole life. I've always had a bit of wisdom. I've always had a little bit of knowledge.
Kind of an old
soul. And people, warm up to me quite easily, or because they understand me quite quickly. I don't know, but I've always been told that I have a bit of wisdom or a bit of knowledge, or an old soul, and it's happened all through my life. And I guess now I look a bit older too, probably older than what I am. But, I don't know. I don't really know what to say about that. I've always done everything pretty quickly as well. I've done things pretty fast, so I've grown up pretty quick.
What sort of like experience did you have with school? Like, did you enjoy it, or could you not wait to get out? Or
in primary school?
Either like primary.
I got to start from there. In primary school, I was a very, very quiet kid. I was the typical kid that used to sit in the corner and not really say anything to anybody. Like, I was very, very, very shy. And it was all because I was a redhead, funny enough. I never got picked on. I never had problems or anything like that, but it was just my own insecurities that I was a little bit different.
Yeah.
And then high school hit, and everything changed. I
Yeah,
don't know
yeah.
what happened. Everything
Been the
just
opposite,
changed.
or
Oh, complete opposite.
yeah, a bombshell.
Loud, obnoxious.
Yeah.
Put my family through terror.
Yeah.
I used to dress in, I don't know what you call it, but whatever you want to call it, like emo, punk, gothic. I used to dress that sort of way, listen to heavy metal, so you can imagine I just did a drastic turn.
Yeah.
I think maybe it started from there. I think maybe, I thought I was a bit older than what I was back then.
Yeah.
And
I can relate to that.
did a few silly things as we do as teenagers.
Yeah.
And decided I was going to grow up pretty quick. I always had older friends that were 1 to 3 years older than me. I've just always got along with older people. Never really got along with someone the same age or a bit younger. I do now, obviously, because we're all a bit older.
Yeah, but even then, I feel like it's funny you say that, because even then I feel like I'm still in the minority, because I meet most people my age and there's just no we're not on the same level, and it's like you're
hard.
so
young.
and yeah, exactly. And I say that, and and they'll either say, oh, I'm the same age as you, or I get told by older people like, oh, I'm the same age as you. I'm like, yeah, but that's not what I mean. Like it's hard to it's really hard to put your finger on sometimes, but it's easy when you see it.
Like
there's
I guess major differences in different households, and I don't know. Some people just grow up quicker than the others. It's crazy. I don't know, but it does happen, and it happened for a very long time up until now. Now it's a lot easier to get along with people, obviously, because I'm a lot older. But I've always had an older mentality, and I like to do what the older kids did.
Do you feel like there's almost a point, because I reckon, because I moved out of home when I was 16, and I moved to Melbourne when I was 17, and I'm 23 now, and I feel like, inevitably as you get older, you get more respect from older people, but I almost feel like there's a bit of a cusp where, when I was 18, no one took me seriously. And then when I got to about 20, 18-year-olds would take me quite seriously. And then, get to that sort of 22 and then 20-year-olds and whatever. I feel like maybe only just now that I'm 23, most people now will probably take me seriously. And there's still going to be quite a few people who are older who won't. But do you know what I mean? It's interesting how just a couple of years makes a massive amount of difference in your 20s especially.
But you do go through different phases, every couple of years through your life.
It's true.
I just mentioned my little emo punk gothic stage before. That was just one stage out of many. I think girls are big for that too. We go through many stages. Puberty in our
sort
life.
of finding who you are, and where you fit.
Exactly. It can be very hard. In those years for girls and boys, but girls are difficult. I'm
girls
sure you would know. It's
Definitely.
very hard, but you do grow, and some things happen where you have to grow. Like as I've got my child.
Now that you say that so casually. So you have a kid, and when
I have my son Tyler.
And how old is he?
He's turning 6 in October.
He's turning 6, right? So you had him when you were
16.
16. Wow.
Yeah, so I was quite young.
How did you find that in terms of did you get a lot of I don't know, were there people, was it support or?
I had massive support from my family. I still do. If I didn't have that support from my mum, I wouldn't be a very good person. I don't think. I
certainly plenty of people in your position haven't had that support. You would say.
But it was very difficult in the beginning. Back then teen pregnancy was only just coming out. I was one of those first people that had.
You were a trendsetter.
That's so bad.
I'm
joking. It was a very difficult time, and it was shocking for a lot of people.
I can imagine.
So it wasn't exactly the pregnancy that you usually would have day to day. I couldn't exactly be happy about it. When someone congratulated me, I was like, what are you congratulating me for? But it was a very hard thing pregnancy wise to adapt to, and I had him, and obviously I wanted him the whole time. I loved him. He was a beautiful little boy. I had him, and had the support from my mum. I lived with my mum and my dad up until I was 19. I moved out, so they've been with me all the way. My mum's basically been mum and dad, and I'm mum and dad. We are that team.
Incredible.
Obviously when you're pregnant and you're that age, you don't know how hard things really are. You think you're prepared, and you think you know what's coming. You could read thousands of books, hundreds of books, it doesn't matter, and you're still going to be like, when that baby comes along. And I think that's what made me grow up the most. That's what made me mature the most. I changed drastically when I had my son, because I had to.
Because it's that being responsible for someone else.
Well, I'm
totally
now. It's not about me anymore. It's about him. And that's kind of the change that I made. That's what made me grow up, and probably is what makes me the person I am today, as well as choosing to do things quite young and to begin with.
Exactly. I think in a way it almost makes sense, because how you said about before, you have always felt older than you are, and you've always felt like you had the wisdom and stuff like that. Like, maybe you're the perfect candidate to having a child that young, you know, in a sense. Or maybe you weren't then, but you are in retrospect now, you know.
I'll say it wasn't the best decision.
Yeah,
it isn't the best decision to go and have children at that age. If I could go back, I would have waited a lot longer.
There you
but
go.
At the same time, I wouldn't go back.
No,
because I love
that's
my
right.
son, and
you wouldn't be who you are.
Exactly. Things wouldn't be the way they are today without me making that decision. That's just another big stepping stone in my life.
And how does it work in terms of, like, because your current partner, is that who you have?
No.
Right.
So that's his,
so that's another side to the
stepdad, or my uncle. That he's taken on that role now. That's not his father.
Oh, okay.
No, Tyler doesn't.
So what happened with the father? Did he sort of fly the coop, or how did that?
Where did I start? We don't get along currently.
Right. So you're not even on speaking terms or anything, or
sort of speaking terms.
Yeah.
It's one of those typical, like, when parents divorce, say, and like they need to get along obviously for their children.
Yeah.
It's just constant arguing. The smallest thing will make you get angry at that person.
Yeah, of course.
So that's where it is. But he's not really in Tyler's life.
Not even in a financial supporting sense?
No. I've tried for, how long has it been now? I'm not. It's been a very, very long time before Tyler was even born. I tried to, kind of kick him into gear. I was that type of girl that thought I could change my boyfriend at the time.
Yeah, right.
And learnt 3 years later that I couldn't.
Yeah. Do you think, looking back on it, that was naive, or?
I just really, really liked the guy. I wasn't worried that he didn't have a job, or he couldn't keep a roof over his head. Sorry. And all that stuff. And then when I did see, I basically said goodbye, and then that was goodbye to him. He didn't want to have a part of anything anymore. Right. I mean, he does. He emotionally, he loves Tyler. He loves Tyler to bits. And I think if he could be here, he would. Well, at least I hope. Even just for the sake of Tyler. But there's exactly for Tyler,
not
for me. But he's never really given that effort. He's never really had the time. Every time I've asked him to, take out that little bit of time, he hasn't wanted to do it. I think his name's Cav. I think Cav's got bigger priorities in his life than his son right now. And that's his own choice at the end of the day. I told him a couple of years ago, like, you do realise you putting yourself out of that role and out of that situation, someone else might take that from you.
That's right, exactly.
I didn't intentionally mean that to happen. That's not what I wish for.
He voluntarily gave up that path,
basically.
Basically.
And it wasn't my choice. Like, I never once did I think like things would go the way that they wanted to, and of course I always wanted a happy little family, and I wanted things to go the way they did, but I wasn't prepared to be with an unmotivated person. Because you're the opposite. I'm motivated to succeed in whatever I want to succeed in. Once I think of something, I'm driven to do it, and I will do it. It's simple as that. Once I want something, I'm going to do it. He wasn't that type of person at all. Lazy. So I didn't. I don't mind, because I don't want that type of person in my life, and if he doesn't want to care, that's his choice. I don't care either. And Tyler's, I think he's better off without. He's got a beautiful, I'll say, stepfather for now.
I guess so,
in his life, and he's taken, it's his own choice to now. He doesn't call him dad.
That's such a huge thing to take on, isn't it? That's such a
massive thing.
How long has he been in Tyler's in your life, I guess?
We're going on 4 years in November.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, so
Tyler might have been 2 or so.
3. They met when, but when we were properly like living together, he was 3. So, it's been a very long time, and then recently Tyler's kind of made up in his mind who, that figure is. Doesn't call him dad, his name's Graham, so he calls him Graham all the time, that's his name, but...
So, when it comes he clearly knows the distinction in his mind. That's his
his father figure, or his idol, or whatever you want to, want to call it. So he's still got that support as well. But my mum and I are mum and dad. Like we've done that together. So yeah. There's a lot of things to say.
Yeah,
but
wow.
That's a
and how old is
story.
he? How old is your
And my partner.
Yeah.
He is 35.
I had a feeling
now.
he'd be
35.
Right.
So yeah,
Interesting.
13 years difference between us two. Big gap.
Yeah, right.
But
and yet I feel like he probably doesn't feel that gap. Like
no,
he feels like
no, neither
yeah.
I'll be honest with you, like half the time I feel like I'm
You're older. Yeah, I was literally about to say that. I was that's so funny.
Yeah, we get along really well. I'll be honest, when we first met each other, I wasn't looking for a relationship at all when we met. At all.
You were
And
happy to
I
be
stand
sort
by
of a
this all
single
the time.
mother and
Don't look for the person
No.
you want to fall in love with.
that's right, exactly.
Don't even want a relationship at the end of it. Like it's just like focus on you and trust me, what you want will come to you like this.
That's
and you
right.
won't even know it.
Because someone will appreciate like who you are and what you want to do.
Yeah,
and
work
that kind of
for
thing.
you. That's what you need. You need to be worked for.
Yeah, exactly. One day I'll understand that.
Just
No,
think about
really,
you and what you want, you'll
Yeah.
get. Expect the unexpected. I said this to you the other day.
You did, yeah.
But yeah, we met at a nightclub that I was.
Rock and roll.
At the time I was doing a lot of promotions.
Yeah.
Like doing photography at clubs and just normal club promotion.
Yeah, cool.
And I'd gone to a gig with a DJ friend of mine, and I'd met him that night, and we hit it off, and he tried to chase me, and he succeeded.
Yeah, right. There you
we
go.
were getting along really well. I was very terrified. I was always really scared. Like when I found out that how old he was. He was 31 at the time.
Okay.
I was 19.
Yeah, that's quite a that always sounds like now
scary.
It's not so bad, but
because
those
I'm
ages
not
are very
That
specific, aren't they?
Oh yeah, it was a very scary time. I remember because my partner's name is the Colonel. His DJ name is the Colonel because he's a DJ as well. I remember telling my mum, because I met the first time that we kissed, right? I remember telling my mum, I had to tell my mum because I felt guilty because of the difference in age. I was like, Mum, I have to tell, Mum, I have to tell you something. And I told her, and she's like, you stay away from that Colonel. I always tell that story. It's funny. But yeah, everyone was like scared. Like I was scared telling people. My family was scared. Curious, sort of what a 31-year-old wanted to do with a
there's almost a kind of presumption that there's something dodgy about it.
Yeah,
which
but
I think
it wasn't
is
like
sad,
that at all.
Isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean, it's understandable, but it's sad.
Society has made those fears come along. But
exactly.
do you know what? They have all right. They have all right to, because I wouldn't. If I was quite a few years younger than that, I obviously wouldn't agree with that. But we're adults now, and that's kind of the way I had to look at it. And as I said earlier, I've always got along with a lot of people. I didn't intentionally try for that to happen, but we just hit it off, and we ended up being a really good couple and the person that I love very dearly. So 4 years later, our longest relationship so far, and
touch wood.
So it's gone good. Yeah, pretty good. Everything takes work in a relationship. Doesn't matter what in a relationship, your career, anything. Doesn't matter what it is. Everything takes work. You just got to work hard at everything to succeed in everything that you want, and that's kind of like my own little motto is just work, work hard, consistency. Yeah.
So you've been together for 4 years. How long have you been living together specifically?
I moved out of home. Well, I didn't move out of home. I had issues at home at 19, and I decided to leave, and I moved in with my partner when we were only together for 3 months. It was only 3 months, and we've been together ever since. So, considering that I moved in so quickly into our relationship, it's gone pretty well. Pretty much 4 years. Well, we're almost at 4 years. So
That's amazing.
Was
that like a big step? Because I mean, for me, for instance, I've only lived with like one girlfriend, and that was for about 2.5 months. So I might even told you this, and it was like hell. Like I can't imagine doing it. But at the same time, we both knew going into it that it wasn't the right decision. We were just making the best of a pretty crap situation at the time. And funnily enough, something else that you also relate to, a lot of stuff for me personally, emotionally, like it was almost a catalyst for things that happened, like once we were living together. And actually, in a funny way, it was a really good thing, because it's what got me to go, well, I say go, I was dragged kicking and screaming to the psychiatrist, but, and sort of finally diagnosed with bipolar, and, well, from there I've I feel like I've become a completely, not different person, but a much like wider sense of who I am and deeper sense of who I am.
That's what I had to do too.
Yeah.
As I said earlier, because I went in Mary Public Gothic.
What
pulled me out of that, because I was going into a really, really rough patch.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Was a counsellor.
Yeah.
Was, the best thing for me, and that was when I also got.
There you go. Yeah. So you were diagnosed as well?
Yes, I was told I had bipolar. So
how old were you?
14.
Oh,
14.
wow.
14, so quite young, and
yeah, that's very young.
I just had to learn how to control things, because I was just doing it in the wrong way. I was trying to deal with my problems in the wrong way. I had to learn, and went and saw a counsellor for 4 years.
Yeah, wow.
And in that time,
it's really amazing to have that kind of one-on-one relationship for 4 years. Like, how was that?
Yeah,
I've always wanted
because
that.
I chased my counsellor. Initially, I'll never forget the day I met him. Like, he was just that goofy type of person, really, really goofy being, and just so easygoing. Like, it was almost like he was kind of nerdy, so I felt so comfortable to be with him. But I remember the first day I'm just going to show you how it was. It was my finger up here. I had no time for this shit. Like,
of course.
Nothing was going to happen. It was, who are you?
The petulant teenager coming out of you.
Or it was this, always slouching in the chair. Like, I never gave a crap at all. And oh my, like, the difference. I remember, like, the last day of me walking out there, I had, like, a nice coat on and my heels. I was really happy, but I chased him.
Such
he was
a transformation.
A beautiful person. Exactly.
I
could see that change. Back in the day, I had folders and folders of poetry, and it was always not very nice stuff. It was always negative stuff. It was like story-like. I like to write stories
sort
as
of
well as...
inspired by your own life or your own experiences?
Sort of. It was just, I liked to make poems that captured like great emotion. I wanted someone to feel great emotion by reading them, whether it was personal or if it was just a story that I created. But he used to take my poems home. He used to take these folders and folders and folders home. And he'd literally like study me. He'd study what I was feeling, what I was doing. And he'd ask me about all my friends and, you know, how they all were and how everything was going. Just everything about me. I was able to talk about everything.
Which I guess is how it should be, really, isn't it? That comprehensive kind of,
that's what I mean.
But never felt like you were vulnerable. You never felt like you were, you know, because I feel like it's a very interesting and difficult relationship. Also, should I say, sensitive relationship in the sense of, you know, you have to be careful not to go maybe too far with it, and obviously he couldn't. You know, you were in such a comfortable relationship with him.
Yeah, so. I was. I could have gone too far, but I chose to work with him. You know, teamwork is the best thing at the end of the day. And I could see the change in myself. I could see that just talking to someone about the real me was actually helping me, and someone that wanted to listen and tried to understand me was just great. And it is when you're a teenager, that's all you want. You just want someone to understand and someone to listen and you know, get why you do what you do, and that's all I wanted, which is probably, you know, why I'm so good at now, because I can look back and know how I felt, and I just knew I was doing what I was doing, so I can like relate to a lot of teenagers now and be like, this is why they're doing what they're doing.
Yeah, you know? Of course.
And like a lot of parents are like, oh, thank you. But anyway,
of course, they love you.
The counselling taught me with the bipolar what to do. I really like talking about it. It's like a little secret side of me. Can you see I'm a little bit awkward about it? But it takes a lot of hard work to learn how to deal with things like that. Because as you know, with bipolar, you're not in the middle. As either you're extremely happy, extremely funny, bubbly, silly, you know, or you're extremely upset and extremely angry. And like the smallest thing can make you switch, and that was really hard. Really, really hard, and I'm still today, like, really.
Of course,
But you learn how to deal with it, and try and create positives out of it. So when I've got a burst of whatever kind of energy it is, use it in some way.
Exactly. Like, you don't think you'd be as proactive without? You wouldn't be as... No. You wouldn't have as much limitless energy?
I have to be driven in some way. Like, there's a lot of things that drive me, you know, from... You know, what we just talked about back then, the silly things that I did, and you know, I don't know, things that you do in your childhood that are difficult and whatever. I have a lot of things. I use a lot of my negatives to drive me, because if I didn't, I'd probably fall to bits. So I've constantly got to have something positive to look forward to, constantly, and I use my negatives to do that. I try and make myself better all the time, constantly become a better person, expand as a person. That's what I need to do. That's just me. I have to do it, otherwise, I'd probably be lazy and grumble and not do anything. I think that actually really beautifully segues onto what I was going to talk to you about next, which is that
I feel like this interview specifically with you, you know, specifically being on YouTube, and you were telling me about your aspirations of vlogging, I feel like you really would be such an amazing inspiration for so many young women. You know, like you've got such a beautiful outlook on life, and you're so vivacious and insatiable, and you know, like, and you've come from a place that, you know, of course, a lot of these girls who are 14, 15, even younger, maybe a bit older, are all in. You know, you know what I mean? Like, there's just so much that you can teach them, and not in a, you know, because there's so much of that bullshit where, you know, like, I'm sure there's probably teenagers maybe watching this now, you know, when it gets uploaded, being like, oh, fuck these guys, they don't understand, you know, because I would have been like that too. But it's like, then, if we do talk to them, and we're not talking down to them, and we talk to them in a language they understand, and guide them, and empathy,
and tell them what they have to do.
Yeah, exactly. So what going on from that? As I said, I think you would be such an inspiration and a really beautiful, you know, not even necessarily influence, but just people could really ascertain so much, you know, really beautiful knowledge from you. What?
Yeah, I feel a lot like we're talking about.
Yeah, is that what kind of made you want to do vlogging, or is that something that
we actually said this earlier? Originally, the first job I ever wanted to be was an architect, but I was terrible at maths. Still terrible at maths.
Really,
but,
an architect?
I'm a big gamer.
Yeah,
so
right.
Really huge, biggest nerd ever.
Yeah, right.
I've been playing games my whole life. Okay,
That's awesome.
And then the day The Sims come out,
I was
like, oh my god, it was just heaven.
That's your two favourite things.
To me, I've played every single Sims game you can ever think of. Okay, for my whole life. Like I think I added up about it's been. I don't know, it's been a long time. But yeah, I not necessarily like to play with the people and like be God. I don't like to do that.
No.
I like to design houses. I love interior design, exterior design, designing anything, and I will spend hours on end just trying to design things. That's what I do with The Sims.
That's awesome.
But also through that rough patch that we talked about, I wanted to be a psychologist. I just knew because I understood these things. I was like, I could talk to people, and also. When I was younger, my friends used to call me the advice machine. Because they'd always come up to me and be like, Casey, what's going on here? Why am I having this? I was like Little Miss Doctor when I was a teenager. So I've always tried to help people. I've always had a thing with that.
Kind of the mother hand of the group.
I try to mother my mum. This is how you could make your life better, mum. Constant, Try to give life-changing advice. So I think I probably would go vlogging if I didn't over-talk and forget what I was talking about.
Exactly. A lot of them do though, and they're very successful. So like you never know.
But I like to drive people, and definitely, obviously, choosing your negatives to drive you is a big thing to do. And there's many people that have negative things that go on in their life. So probably could help a lot of aspiring girls or. People.
Do you think, because this is something we touched on as well, because I was linking you videos of I'd probably say my absolute favourite female vlogger, and that's Carrie Hope Fletcher, who's just, to me, I'm a little bit in love with her, to be honest, and not even in like, a sexual way. She's just so incredibly down to earth and humble, and there was,
she's got a lot of wisdom.
Doesn't she? Amazing amount of wisdom, especially for someone of her age, and for someone who is probably, not to be judgmental and not to presume, but like comparatively, like relatively sheltered, I think. She's had she probably had a pretty, not necessarily like super easy life, but she still lives at home for one, and I don't think she's lived out of home ever. But she's travelled overseas and things like that, and she's hoping to move out soon and things like that. I love that I'm talking about her as if she's an acquaintance or a friend, but that's really what she creates, and a bit like, it's funny because I even find that she inspires me so much, because as an example with her persona with Carrie Hope Fletcher, Hopefuls or whatever, the fact that there's no persona is kind of like what I'm trying to create here. Like, exactly. Yeah. Like there was that interview with her, which was so wonderful, and I really love the guy that interviewed her as well. And she's like, it's not just like she's being who she wants other people to think of her as, like she's being exactly what she wants to be. And I feel like that with me, with Paisley Presents, with this is like, it's like I feel like I am just being me, I don't feel like there's any, obviously there's a little bit of performance in terms of, you're in front of a camera and you are doing it to people.
Make sure it looks okay.
Exactly, and it is for the purposes of being watched. It's not as if we're just having a conversation for no reason, which would be, just as good. But it's one of those things, I think, and that's something I really love about Carrie, is that she's just so honest and so down to earth, and yeah, I don't know, she comes out with the most profound things, and I'm just like, you are what young girls should be looking up to. You know, not Miley Cyrus or bloody. And I'm not saying that, you know, once again, no judgments. But what I was about to ask you next is, what do you think about women, young women especially today, in terms of how many judgments that are placed on them, or expectations, all of this? Like, how do you wade through it, and how can you kind of? That's a huge question, isn't it?
Can we simplify that?
Yeah, I should simplify a little bit. Like, what do you think about some of the female role models?
I can tell you what I disagree with.
Yeah, please do.
I feel like with every year we're selling clothing items with less and less material.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
As in sexualizing, kind of, or.
I'll start with, like, you see 14. There was a little trend a few months ago where you'd see 14 and 15-year-old girls with those really high shorts that showed a little bit of the bum cheek.
Yeah, which is quite terrifying.
Or if you've noticed in a lot of, you know, female video clips in the music industry right now, how much they're showing. And
yeah.
I'm sure you'd understand. I don't really need to get into what the music industry is getting into these days.
Right, yeah.
And it's just it's showing women in a really, really wrong way. And
objectifying them.
Yeah, that's the word. I couldn't think of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you've got young girls growing up right now watching these people as their idols, just the same way that I looked at Britney Spears or Christina Aguilera as my idol.
Yeah.
You know, luckily I was old enough when they changed into, you know, the personas that they changed into.
Well, I think Britney Spears is a really good example, because there was a point, wasn't there, a very conscious decision by her and her people, you know, marketers or whatever,
from when she went for
where she went from old baby with the what's the word, the bunches and the very like still very sort of American, you know, subtle American
girl
porn,
next door.
Yeah, cute skirt, sexy, but still quite innocent,
subtle.
you know, subtle and kind of almost classy, you know,
the innocence.
and then
and that's what it is these days. Like you said, you've seen it in Rihanna. She's gone from Umbrella to, I'm not even going to get into SOS. There's a good perfect example of the first time I was shocked by a video.
Crazy.
Beyonce Knowles. What was the Drunken Love that just came out? Did you see like her on stage performance? No. There's actually a few. I was actually looking at Vivo not that long ago. I was like, oh my god, you've changed. I don't know. I don't understand why the industry is doing things the way they are, but it's just like people just want to show more skin, and that's what I don't agree with. I just don't like that. You don't have. I myself, as a model, okay, I don't agree with, I agree with art. I would go and look at your artwork in whatever way, but I don't personally do like lingerie shoots. I don't do bikini, nude, fine art nude, anything like that, because I don't believe that I need to show off my body in that way to succeed in something.
Yeah, or it's not something you're comfortable doing.
No, not at all. Not at all. I've got a son, so
exactly.
as I said, I had my son at 16. Okay, so we've got 15 years difference. He's going to grow up one day, and I don't want him on Facebook or whatever website's on there. You know, one day and my image comes up and I'm in whatever I'm in, if it's nothing.
Exactly. And, especially
know,
with the nature of the internet. And
him or his friends, to come across it and be like, I saw your mum on here the other day, and then to be like, you know, I can't do that to him. So
that itself is a very mature thing that I don't think a lot of people your age or even older. So you have quite a specific kind of problem with a lot of young people having these kind of influences around them in terms of like the divas and things like that. What do you think, because I think there's an interesting distinction to be drawn between, because there's always that backlash, isn't there? Because a lot of divas, particularly like Miley Cyrus and people like that, have come out publicly and said it's not exploitation, it's liberation. And I think like
trying to show everyone that they're growing up and that they're able to do.
Or even that everything they do, they're doing it sort of for good reasons. And I wonder that is a silly argument, because that implies that the young women know that, or that they would understand it to that level or to that degree. Do you think young women, when I'm talking about really young women here, like, you know, tweens, I guess, do you think they're really sophisticated enough to understand the difference between that just being like a sexualization and a liberation.
No,
of,
not at all.
Yeah, right.
Not at all, yeah. And that's
Yeah.
exactly how I think.
Yeah.
I can't really
yeah.
put anything into that. Like, I don't
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly how I feel. Because they
Yeah.
aren't old enough to understand
Yeah.
the concept or the idea
Yeah.
that you're trying to put across. No way. Even
Yeah.
I didn't understand that until you said that. And I was like, oh, well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
because I don't, my morals, I don't, you know, with my morals, I don't view things that way.
Of course,
You know, you have
yeah.
certain intentions when you want to do certain things like that or dress certain ways like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, there's lots of things I could say about it.
So it's kind of naive in a way of,
Oh,
do you
yeah.
think of those particular musicians or singers?
No,
in
they know
question,
what
or-
they're doing.
Oh, okay. Which makes it worse?
They,
you
yeah,
think?
oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
much
yeah.
worse. Yeah.
But yet they think that they can, you know, go and put a label on it like they're doing something good for other people when they're not. They're not
Yeah.
at all. How is that? Like they think they're expressing freedom, you know, or female power, or you know, feminism, or whatever it is. It's none of that crap. Well, whatever you're showing, it's none of what you say it is. I'm sorry, but it isn't. I don't agree with it. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
I'm actually quite blunt when it comes to things like that. But
No, I think that's important.
it's wrong. It's wrong. It's not what we were taught. And now, like, everything that we were taught as children. And I mean, our generation was hard enough. They thought we were going bad.
That's
like,
right. It's getting
what
out of
example
hand
are you
now, isn't
setting
it? Yeah.
for the next ones? Because the things that are out these days are shocking, and you know, you wouldn't exactly want to feed that, but they are. You know?
No. Yeah.
So yeah, that's my opinion.
And where do you think the line is between? Because surely some of them are influenced by. What was I going to say? Like some of it is entirely down to the marketing, but is that always an excuse? You know, like are they like, so it's like someone like Miley Cyrus or Lady Gaga, surely they're in a position to like they are their own marketing machine, so they can do whatever they want. So are they just buying into that marketing?
Yeah, definitely. There's definitely
yeah.
ways to sell themselves more. They know how they're going to get exposed and get more people to look at them as well.
Yeah,
but if you're naive about it and you don't know how the industry's going, like I'm just going to throw in the Illuminati word for a second. You've noticed a lot of the fashion industry have gone, you know, with the pyramids, and you've got deers, and you've got all just heaps of different symbolism like pyramids and heaps of stuff. Okay, a lot of people are naive to that and what that symbolism means. A lot of things of things we're very naive to and don't know what that symbolism means.
Or even just the fact that there's a culture of young people wearing a band t-shirt, they don't know what the band is. Like, I've never understood that.
You like it, you pick it up.
It's really weird. Yeah.
That's right, but then their intention is not to support whatever that industry is trying to bring out. Do you know what I mean? So I understand that. Okay, I get that. And many times, like this Illuminati crap, many times I've been put in a situation where I've had to, you know, my short film that I recently was in, there was a lot of like dark symbolism in that as well.
Right.
There was a pair of pants at a runway I had to wear that had eyes all over them. So many things. Like, and you know, if you're naive and you don't really, you know, follow that, you don't really know how much about it, or you don't like it or whatever, that's fair enough. I understand that. But if you're supporting the crap that they're trying to put out, then I don't agree with you. I don't. A lot of these artists do know what they're doing, and they do know how they can get the exposure, and they do know how they can look a bit more whatever way they want to look. And then a lot of others are just like, I just want to aspire, I just want to be in this career, be in this industry and do better. And you know, these people use them to do what they want. I had to use that.
No, that's a good example.
Because that's what it is. It's just like, that's how they advertise things. They just, everyone, I can't even explain it, doesn't matter. But I don't agree with it if it's intentional at all.
So what do you say, what would you then say, like if there was some of them sitting here, like a forum or something, what would you then say to people who are sort of our age, a little bit younger or a little bit older, who, I'm only playing devil's advocate here, who say that people like Miley Cyrus and people like Lady Gaga, like they're such an inspiration to young women.
I get people angry at me all the time.
Because of
I've got a
that
different
kind of thing.
opinion. But you know, let her do what she wants. She's just showing the way of her growing up, or blah blah blah. And I'm like, but you don't have to show yourself naked, your boobs, on television to be successful and to show people that you're growing up and you're doing what you love to do. That's not what, I'm sorry. But it's not a good point. It is a really stupid, arguable point. It's not an arguable point. It's, you can't, it's just stupid. It's really stupid. I'm a big debater myself.
Me too.
Like a point that I would just be like, I am like that all the time because they're continuously trying to say this is okay because of this reason, and it's not.
I think
it's
it gets.
not okay.
I think it gets to a point almost where, because I, you know, and I think you probably say the same. I'm no way a prude. Like, I'm so open-minded. I've had friends who are sex workers. I have friends who have worked in, you know, kind of small-time porn things. You know, like you know, whatever. Like,
that's what they love to do.
Exactly. Yeah, and they're doing it for the right
That's
reasons,
right.
and they understand
you know,
what it is.
These people love to sing. These people, you know, love to dress people, or love to dress in fashion.
Yeah.
You're not trying to sell sex.
No, exactly.
So why are you doing it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Simple.
And it's almost like cheating, isn't it? It's almost like, for me, you can almost draw a like not like a graph, but like a correlation between like the amount of talent that they have, and then how much that they sell themselves as an object, you know, or a sex symbol. Because I look at someone who's like the love of my life, like Laura Marling, the folk singer, like amazingly talented. She never gets her tits out.
Yeah, exactly.
Never is remotely like candid or anything like that. Like, she's almost the exact opposite. She's lovely and she's charming and she's down to earth. You know, when you see her live and in interviews and stuff. But she's just who she is, and she, you know, she's not out to be anything that she isn't, or to even there's no element of her that's even like, I need to sell myself.
Yeah,
she
well,
just
what's on your
is who
chest
she
is
is
not going to
you know.
determine your career.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
exactly.
what it is.
But then maybe we're in a climate these days where it really does, and where it really is gonna.
I think people are just getting a little bit desperate. Things are getting a bit harder. So what's the easy way into this? What's the easy way out? Like, this was not me being a model. It was not easy to get here, as I said before. Like, I had to work really hard, and I'm still working to stay at where I am and to get even further. Yeah, and you definitely don't need to take little shortcuts like that to get there. Wouldn't you be prouder and that hard work?
Exactly.
And take and do, rather than, you know, I just quickly snap this up because I did this, you know.
Yeah. And do you think that's also, like, I should be wrapping up, but I'm just going to say this as well. Do you think that's a product of not even our generation, but the next generation being a very, like, you know, sort of instant gratification? Like, they need that kind of, they want to be famous for the sake of being famous, and they want, like,
instant wants.
You know, it's just awful. It's just.
That's exactly what it's like.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy to think. Like, what would the generation after that be like? You know.
I don't want to imagine.
Right.
Yeah, like, my son already scares me.
I was just going to say, actually, that's a really good question to end on. How do you feel that you can impart all of your sort of your wisdom and your old world sense of sort of characters and things like that onto your son, in terms of what kind of world do you what kind of values do you want to instill in him for him to take into the next generation?
Obviously, what I mentioned today, just working, you know, to succeed in life and whatever it is. Look, to be honest, I don't care if he doesn't do anything in his life. He doesn't have a job. He doesn't have anything. Just as long as he succeeds in his passion, what he's passionate about, you know, strive to do something. Doesn't matter what it is. Just do something. And little things like, don't let what anybody says to you affect you. That's not what makes you. You change all the time. You expand all the time. I really, there's a lot of things that I feel like I should, you know, throw into my son. But at the end of the day, I know, because I was a difficult teenager, that a lot of things that I teach him and a lot of things that I say to him are going to go in one ear and out the other, and he's going to do what he wants to do.
Of course,
So, I don't know, just guide him, tell him, you know, show him the difference between right and wrong, because that's probably his major thing at the moment, being 5. Is, you know, what's right and wrong, what should I be doing, what should I not be doing. That's my main focus right now. And once he gets that concept, it's the next step, which is probably how to treat people and manners. And I don't know, he's too young to even think that. I'm scared, I'm terrified to even have conversations like that when he's a teenager. I know what I know, but at the end of the day, I know that I'm not going to know everything. And I'm not going to be able to control him and get him to do what I want him to do. He's going to do what he wants to do. And I learnt that from being me and doing the crap I did. I put my parents through a lot. And I got a funny feeling that's going to happen to me too. But, you know, that life story is to be continued. We will see. I'll do the best I can. You know how driven I am to succeed in things, and that's just that's it. Just be driven to succeed in whatever you want to succeed in. I'm not bothered what it is, whether you want to be like, you know, a checkout boy at Coles, or you know, make burgers at McDonald's, or, you know, become an actor or a model or a musician or whatever. I don't care, as long as he's passionate about what he's doing. You know, you can be passionate about making a burger. I don't care. do what makes you happy, and then I'm happy. That's it. That's all I've ever wanted. Is happiness. That's what I chase for.
Fulfilled kind of existence. And
feel
striving
like
for
you've accomplished something. Because if you haven't accomplished anything and you feel like you haven't accomplished anything, well, you probably would know how that feels. So that's all I ever want, is to accomplish something and just do something, so I can talk about something that I've done. Tell
rather
my
than
kids
being famous for the sake of being famous, or being
having nothing to talk about. Like, how did you grow up? You know, what did you do? How did you get where you are today? And it's like, I just slacked off. I did nothing. It all just came to me. You know, I met a good person.
Got my tits out.
You know. Whatever. They're easy right out. I don't agree with it. I agree in hard work. That's it. Yeah, I've had to work hard my whole life. Like, my first TV, I had to pay half for it, 7 years old. So you work for what you get. You have to put in for what you want to get back. It's simple with anything. It's simple with relationships, with buying things, with careers, anything. It's all up to you what you do and how successful you are with how much work you put in. At the end of the day, it's all in your head. It's all what you choose to do, what you're scared about, what you're not scared about. Do the things you're scared of.
It's that brilliant old saying where it says I don't remember if it's bravery or courage, but it's like bravery or courage is feeling the fear and then doing it anyway.
You accomplish it. Imagine the feeling after accomplishing your biggest fear. It'd be amazing. And I have accomplished a few years, but I know there's many bigger ones yet. So I think the last couple of years has been like stepping out of the box and doing the things I never thought I wouldn't. Doing things that scares the crap out of me, like as simple as calling a friend that you were best friends with in grade 4 and going, let's catch up. You know, I see you on Facebook, but I never go and see anyone that, you know, I used to know. Let's just do it. You know, simple as that to, you know, taking a big leap for your, you know, with your career or whatever. Start small and get big.
Everyone seems to be so worried and scared these days,
I'm scared
about like what other people think or about them, and what are they like,
everyone's exactly the same. Just try and
you got to break out of that.
Find something to change that. Take your mind off it. Occupy yourself. That's what I do. Just keep occupying myself, doing stuff. Because otherwise, things take a hold of you. You think too much into things, and then you get too scared. You overthink, and you don't do them because you're terrified. And I'm a big candidate for that type of stuff, because when I was younger, I'd take a day off school, or I'd take 2 days off school. And then, because it was midweek and we were getting on to the end of the week, I'd be too scared to go back because we're at the end of the week, so there was no point in me going back. I'm going to get in trouble. So I'd leave it, and the more I leave it, the more scared I get, and the more I neglect it, and then things stop, and I've got to come back again. Like when I lost my phone a couple of months ago, and I wasn't in the modelling world anymore. I was completely uncontactable.
Makes you quite isolated these days.
It really does, and you come back and you've got to start all over again. Because no one knows who you are anymore.
That's crazy.
But just keep working. It's simple. It's simple.
That's good.
I mean,
I love that even your explanations are proactive. You're like, just do it, just go.
Really, it's that simple. It's not all talk, it's action. Just do it.
Exactly.
Just do it.
And that's often my problem, is like, I talk about a lot of things.
Well, I do too. I mean, I can be a lazy person. Like, I mentioned this before, I'm a big YouTuber. Big gamer, big. I could spend my whole life playing video games. I really could. But what would I have to talk about? What would I have to give? What what people are going to expect of me? What's my family going to expect of me? Nothing at the end of the day. Gamer.
Exactly.
I could be the laziest person, but I've always constantly got to find. I've got to get that at least one shoot. So that I'm doing something. And it's funny enough, because usually when I go and just be like, no, I've got to stop being lazy and go and get that shoot, I go and book myself for the next 2 weeks. So it kind of works out.
I feel the same as well. Like, I won't do any acting at all. Like, even maybe the last maybe 2 or 3 weeks I haven't done, or even more than that, like 2 months, shall we say, I haven't done any short films, or done any plays or whatever. And just in the last week, I had a job interview last week. I have 4 auditions for short films and plays next week. And it's not just, it's not just, I think it's not just a reflection of you, but also a reflection of the industry, because it is seasonal in that way. There's not always going to be the same amount of work.
That's right.
But it is interesting how sometimes you it's like a wave, like if you go against it, then, but if you ride into it, then it's going to, you'll come out the other side.
That's exactly right.
So just to finish, what's next? Like, other than modelling, is there anything you would really love to do with your life in terms of, vlogging is one. Travel,
Yeah, vlogging's one. Travel.
Vlogging, travel, modelling,
Yeah, succeed in my modelling. I want to do a lot of international work, so that's my next step is, trying to make my videos, like my video bio, my walk, put them on YouTube and whatever, and send them off to international.
Has there been a model vlogger? I don't know if there has been, because I know
there's
Carrie's like a West End singer, and there's certain people that are.
Their names, but
yeah,
I am subscribed to a few.
There you go.
There is one model in particular who's very, very like she's like my idol at the moment. Just
really?
Her name's Coco Rocha, I think it is.
Okay.
She's amazing. She's amazing. She's actually my last shoot that I did. Or one of my last shoots where I did the jumping. She's kind of what gave me that.
The inspiration.
I'm like, let's do this and stuff. But there are a few modelling vlogs, but they don't give you as much help as I wish they would.
Of course.
Yeah, like as I said, like simple little things like what to wear to a casting, and how tall do you have to be, how to walk in catwalk. Maybe not being a model, you might think they're not simple things, and they're probably big things you need to know in the industry or whatever. But as a model, they're tiny, tiny, tiny little things. I'd like to have something more for models rather than girls that aspire to be models. Does that make sense? Like have a leveled amount of advice for both rather than just one thing. So,
that's a good idea.
there are a few. And home life. I don't move house. I'd love to move into a new house. I have 4 dogs.
Of course.
So I'd like
to have your own sort of family home kind of.
Well, we have our own little home, but my puppies recently had puppies. So I'd like to have a lot of space for my dogs. 4 dogs.
That's
4
crazy.
dogs.
That's amazing.
So I'd like a bigger home. International modelling career. My son to grow up bright and happy. And that's really it. I'm really focused on modelling at the moment. So international work is just, this is what I want. That was my main goal. It's been my biggest goal, and I'm so close to it now, 4 years later, that I'm just like I want it. It's so close, So that's it. International work. I'm looking in like the Asian market.
Wow, that'd be amazing.
But world travel eventually. I would love to travel the world. Always wanted to travel Europe.
Me too.
But can't afford it.
I know.
So maybe one day. One day. So that's what's left for me.
I guess I keep telling myself we're still young, even though we don't tell ourselves that.
We feel like we haven't got
so
enough time left to do everything.
Like
I know what you mean.
Like my sister often teases me that I look at my life now as if I'm writing my memoirs when I'm 80.
Right, exactly the same. You just feel like you're missing out on something.
Definitely.
You need to do more. You need to accomplish more. But it's almost like it's too late. Almost.
It is, isn't it?
I
can't believe I'm 23 and I haven't been to Europe, to the UK. I thought I would have been there 7 times by now. It's crazy to think, or living there by now. It's crazy.
Exactly.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure. Just look, she just does all the questions herself, really, doesn't she? I don't need to do anything. I'm just sitting here, occasionally throwing in comments.
I talk too much.
So I'll also link Jayden's model or professional model Facebook page, so you guys can check out her work. Maybe we'll link some of the other vloggers and things like that we've talked about, even just to because you might hear it and be like, oh, I want to know what that is.
Check me out.
Yeah, exactly. So encourage Jayden to start a vlogging channel of her own, and maybe she will.
Give me some confidence.
That's
talk to camera on my own.
That's it. Well, thanks very much for watching, and I guess I'll see you in the next interview. Bye.